6th, 2013. This is a regular meeting of the Dublin San Ramon Services District Board of Directors. Presiding this evening is President Don Benson.
Good evening. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we're official. Roll call, please.
Director Hopkins?
Here.
Director Howard?
Here.
Director Duarte?
Here.
Vice President Joaquin Leopold?
Here.
President Benson?
Here. Okay, special announcements and activities.
Oh, we have none tonight.
Okay. Moving right along, we have public comment. We do have a blue card. So I'd like to invite up to the podium Marlene Massetti, customer, regarding the home emergency insurance solution. Thank you for being here, Marlene.
Thank you, and thank you for the letter that you sent in regards to my inquiry. President Benson, the Board of Directors, I'm here tonight as a follow-up to a letter that was received in regards to purchasing through HES the insurance coverage for the water and sewage. And having been a public employee for most all of my life, I was concerned about receiving materials with a logo with the San Ramon Water District, and also what appears to be obviously an endorsement of HES for customers to purchase the insurance program. There are a couple of things noted in the letter. One is a small disclosure at the bottom. There's also reference to calling home emergency directly for information on a toll-free number. Also referenced in the letter is HES's website, and there is, in addition, it says you can also call our customer service professionals at 925, which is the water district. And when I called the water district to inquire about it, I was asking about other insurance companies that may be available that I could purchase insurance through, and to find out specifically what the relationship was, given that the information came from the water district's logo letterhead signed by the customer service representative. And basically what I found out during that conversation is that the agreement, a partnership, was entered into with the water district and this private insurance company to provide this insurance coverage for the customers. And I wanted to express my concern about receiving it in this manner, and I think I represent a lot of customers. I've certainly talked to a lot of friends and neighbors that have a similar concern. Some people saw this as a bill, other people saw this as I did as an endorsement, and there was a real concern about whether or not there was a conflict of interest in the fact that this information did not state anything in regards to the benefits that the water district is deriving as a result of this contract. And specifically, I'm talking about the $25,000 that was given to the water district, and also the 10% that the district can expect to receive for contracts that the customers, your customers, contract with HES to receive. None of that was disclosed in the letter. I sent a follow-up email to this board and to President Benson, and was directed to go to the district's water district's website, which I did. And going through all that information, it states that you're entering to this partnership for the benefit of the customers. And buried in the questions and answers, there's reference to the fact that there is a 10% the monthly revenues that will go to the water district. I don't know what vetting was done. My question had to do also with this sent out for bids, and I understand from President Benson that it wasn't required given the fact that they were not, the board isn't purchasing anything. But perhaps it would have been better for the board if they hadn't, to talk to all the insurance companies. I know there are at least a few, at least 5, who are providing this insurance, to find out whether or not this is the best one and what the best rates were for the customers. In my brief review on the internet, there's been a lot of questions raised regarding this particular company, and Even in the Alameda County that I know has the same program you referenced, Contra Costa Water District, they had questioned why they were doing business with an insurance company that does not have a Better Business Bureau rating. There's also been legal actions that were taken out of state in regards to this company in several states back, and this was reported in 2010, and there were legal actions taken by district attorneys in several states that resulted in agreement to pay civil penalties and restitutions to the customers. My concern is what kind of vetting was done in regards to this program. But more importantly, I think that there should have been more transparency than what is done on a website. Typically a customer, I'll tell you from my standpoint, is not going to go online to do research when you have a company selling insurance and you have something referenced here saying go to their website. That's why I called the district office. But surely, you know, if there's more mailings, and I understand there's more mailings that are going to go out, I think it would behoove the board to disclose that there are financial benefits that the district is receiving as a result of this contract. And to me, that would be a transparency that is not in what's going on right now. I know that we've been told that there's no really endorsement. It's up to you as a customer to look into this company, which certainly I would be doing and have been doing. But I think when you look at the board minutes and the approval of this meeting, you know, the board had made reference to the fact that I think using the district's logo, this is a quote from the minutes, actually legitimizes the presentation of the information. Another board member felt that if the district endorses home serve, it would give the district good credibility with its customers. I mean, certainly all these things are reflected in the board minutes, certainly show an endorsement by the board of this organization. And so I think that there is an obligation when you're making an endorsement to your customers as a public entity that there be full disclosure about what money is being awarded to the district. If I sign up for something and I know you're getting money back, I want to know about it. I appreciate the fact that in your letter, President Benson, you asked if we had suggestions I did about how to use the money, that would be something that the board may be interested in. And I would say that given how this money's come about to the district, and in my opinion, the lack of transparency, I think that money should go into a fund to help low-income residents of Dublin and San Ramon to pay their bills. And I would hope that for those people that are considering this coverage, that if those people don't get service, that there is some venue through the water district that they can bring pressure upon this insurance company that's known to have problems that have brought legal actions by attorney generals in other states to step up to the plate and help the homeowners in Dublin that are signing up for this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Some very good information. I do, at this point, any comments, questions? Maybe?
Lauren, it might be good if you told her how we're now funding the low-income program.
Certainly. We already do have a low-income program that we have established, I think it was 2 years ago, and that does pay for the fixed charge on a customer's water bill. And so the district is currently providing subsidy to those customers that qualify for that low-income program.
I did see that online. I thought this money that's coming about as a result of this public-private partnership and agreement, that more money could go into that fund.
Good idea. And the transparency on the letter, I don't see any reason why we can't put something like that in the letter.
Let's be careful with the chemicals.
So, thank you for your comments. All right, we'll move on to reports.
President Benson, members of the board, as you know, Mr. Malachek is off this week, taking care of his daughter. And we're happy to have Ms. Rose back with us. And I'll tell you, Mr. Archer's really glad that she's back. Staff would like to apologize for an omission on the minutes when you get to it. Director Marty was left off, and he was actually here. So when you take an action on the minutes, assuming you do, if you would, sure that we would add his name in. So staff apologizes for that. Dan would like to, we've had a couple of water breaks this week, maybe just a short update on the status of that.
Thanks, Dave. We've had 2 significant water breaks in the last week, and we wanted to share with you just to bring you up to speed. One was last Friday on York Street, just a few blocks north of the district office here. We had a 10-inch water main break. It was discovered about late morning, just before lunchtime, and we had a crew out there working on it. There were about 30 homes that were without water while this break was being fixed. What complicated that particular repair is we had to dig down about 12 feet just to reach the pipe, and the hole ended up being 13 feet deep, I think, by the time we got it finished. Turned out to be a repair coupling that corroded, that had been installed when the pipe was originally put in, and it finally let go after 30 plus years or whatever of being in the ground. Then that was finally fixed. They got the water turned back on Saturday morning about 5 a.m. So those customers were without water basically a good part of the day and that evening. So just yesterday we had another leak that was discovered, and this one was out at Locust and Woolbury, which is just off of Village Drive before you get to Contra Costa County. So it's kind of at the northern edge of our pressure zone 1. That particular break was on an 8-inch pipe, and that break actually caused us to, we lost water to 4 homes with that particular break. We were able to leave it on overnight. The leak wasn't so bad that we couldn't let it go overnight, so those people still had water during the night. But this morning, we had to shut it off and get it fixed, so that's taken care of now. So that break's been solved. But this kind of is maybe a harbinger of the dry weather that we're getting, because our soils in this area tend to shrink when they get dry. And when the ground shrinks, it puts stress on pipes, and I think we're starting to see some of the casualties of that shrinkage. So anyway, we'll keep you informed as we run into more problems out there.
I would add 2 quick comments to that. The focus of the asset management program of the potable water system right now is on the corrosive soil and the fact that it'll deteriorate in those. That was probably what happened at Cumberland. And the second thing is that's the cement pipe, the second break, that gets brittle with age. And we're in the process of trying to evaluate those pipes. Those are the oldest pipes in the district. So both of these issues are things that is the key focus of asset management.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, and as far as correspondence to the board, you've had 5 letters received regarding item 9B on the agenda tonight. And you've had another 6 items of correspondence related to the home emergency insurance solution issue. That should be in your package in front of you. And that's all we have.
Okay, great. Moving right along to committee reports. Questions? Agenda management.
Okay.
Okay, well, approval of the minutes. Regular meeting of July 16th, 2003 with the revision of adding Director Duarte.
I'm going to abstain since I wasn't here.
I was just going to say, I think, and we also need to take, Howard out, because he was not on.
Monica says
It
that was-
says at an excused absence.
Okay, but if he's on the roll call. So,
Well, everybody's else.
I move we approve the minutes with the change of the addition of Mr. Doherty as attending, and that would be it.
and remove
I'm on
Director.
roll call.
He's already
You didn't
approved.
answer.
He's also, it says he's attended. Board members present. If you look up here, he's attended.
But said, all
Okay.
the rest of the
As
sentence.
he's, okay, good. Sorry. All right. You'll second it? All in favor? Aye. No, one extension. Okay, moving right along. To consent calendar, 8A, A through E. Do I hear a motion?
Move to accept 8A through 8E.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Director Juan Guido Leopold. Seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposes. So moved. On to board business, number 9, public hearing to adopt engineering report and direct the levy of annual assessments in the Doherty Valley Standby Charge District 2001-1 for fiscal year 2013-14. Okay, so we'll open up the public hearing. Okay, move to close the public hearing? Okay. Director Howard. Do I hear a motion, or is he second? All in favor? Aye. And no abstention? Okay, so we're set. Now we deliberate on staff presentation.
President Benson and members of the board, approval of this item will allow staff to levy the special assessment for water service in Doherty Valley. The assessment is used to pay Zone 7 for the costs associated with providing water in that area. If Zone 7 is successful in separating from the county, this assessment will no longer need to be levied by DSRSD. The assessment, I believe for the third year, is at its maximum. And so one of the things that we continue to talk about with Zone 7 is our interest in pursuing separation for the purpose of allowing this assessment to be levied by them. Otherwise, we would have to perhaps go through a special ballot measure to get the assessment raised. So hopefully we don't run into that issue for another year or two, but it is sort of on the horizon, and there might be an issue collecting enough money from the Doherty Valley to pay their share of the water costs. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Just my annual comment, especially now that we're on the internet, but with this item, it's purely administrative. It is an assessment that the zone uses to fill fixed water charge overhead in the city of Doherty Valley. Being fact that they're in Alameda County entity, they can't tax directly to Doherty Valley. So we do this as a pass-through for them. But it's purely the zone's money. We're just administering the process to them.
Okay. Thank you, so noted. Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, is this, no, public hearing, move now, or is this?
It's a resolution.
Okay, got it.
Okay, do I have a second? Director Von Leopold, seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so moved. Next, we have 9B. Discuss extension of expiring capacity rights, and it looks like we have a blue card for Mr. Bob Glover from Building Industry Association, and this is regarding 9B.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thank you.
President Benson. I want to first thank you, President Benson and Director Howard, and the Finance Committee for the recommendation that there be a stakeholder meeting. I apologize for not being able to attend the Finance Committee meeting, but I appreciate the opportunity to meet with staff and also the opportunity to be here tonight. I believe you all have our letter from the Building Industry Association. I'll be brief. When I was back here in late 2010, early 2011, we were talking about ways to ensure the success of several projects that were coming online in the middle of the great, the worst recession since the Great Depression. And with the great support of the board at that time and staff, we were able to put forward a plan that we felt gave our struggling industry an opportunity to weather the storm. Unfortunately, that storm's taking a little longer to pass than we expected. For that reason, we respectfully request that the board support elimination of the capacity rights expiration. And we as an industry appreciate the support during these unprecedented times. We understand the board's fiduciary responsibilities. Therefore, we also understand the desire by the board and staff to, as a condition of the elimination of the expiration, to require a true-up fee. In light of the struggles that we're facing and that we faced in the past, we would respectfully request, as the letter points out, that the true-up be the difference between the fee at the time of expiration and the fee at the time of building permit issuance. We feel that this not only helps the goal of providing an attainable economic solution for these expiring projects, but also sets a clear path for current and future projects coming forward. I also wanted to, lastly, to take a brief second to thank staff. Very much appreciate their willingness to meet with the stakeholders. We don't always like what they have to say, but they're fair, they're honest, and they're always willing to have that conversation. So Dave, Carl, Redora, and Bert, thank you all so much. And then lastly, the board, especially the Finance Committee, for their continuing effort to listen to the building industry and the stakeholders, and the board for their actions in the past, present, and consideration of our proposal here tonight. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, any questions?
I can give you some background.
Yeah, background.
Okay. Board is probably aware, currently the district code says that once you buy pay your capacity reserve fees, and you pay them at the time that issuance of the construction permit by the district, you have 3 years to either build the building associated with those fees, or you lose the capacity rights. That provision came into the code quite a few years ago. He will probably remember when the district was smaller. Particular developer, kind of threatened he could buy all the district capacity at one time and heck with other developer. So the board implemented that provision. It actually served us well over the years. It was very important at the time. The allotment capacity was short. But as we hit, and over the years, it hasn't been a real problem in the 3 years. Quite honestly, there's been a few that have fallen out of compliance, but they haven't really been enforced. There's only been a handful of them over the years. However, when the economic turndown in 2008 hit, it was right after there was a change in water connection fees and a rush to the counter, and so there was a lot of reserve fees, capacity reserve fees paid that were going to expire in 3 years. So the board took 2 actions in that period after 2008 to allow people for payment of either developers for payment of either $1,000 or $1,500 to extend their capacity reserve that they had not used either to December 2013, or an additional 2 years, depending on where they fell on the time frame. There are still a number of fees that are going to expire at the end of December from that group. That even though development's picked up, sales picked up, there's still some that haven't been sold. As part of the last action the board took, they asked staff to look at this issue and come back before the end of December with some kind of recommendation. Staff put together a recommendation and went to the Finance Committee with it. The recommendation has several parts. The first part is that we eliminate the fact that you lose your fees after 3 years. That becomes a grace period. So what would happen, the developer pays their fee. If they use it within 3 years, that's fine. If they haven't used it in 3 years, then future vest that capacity right, they would pay an additional fee at the time they receive the building permit for whatever building's associated with. And staff recommended that that fee be the difference between the fees in place at the time they made the original purchase and the fees in place at the time of the building permit issuance. The third element of that is the code provides for the board some ability to limit issuing capacity fees if there becomes some kind of restriction on available capacity, as there was with allotment capacity. Looking out in the future, we're probably big enough now, we may not face that. You might, about the issue in the future, you don't know. So what staff has also recommended a change in the code that essentially those people that buy their fee have the right to use in that 3-year period. But the board has a right to meter out people's ability to use fees, either not issue new ones if you don't want to because of limited capacity connection, or not allow people to vest them until we have available capacity, so you control those 2 points. So those are the ones in the proposal by staff. We presented that proposal to the Finance Committee. Several developers came and talked to different issues. Finance Committee said, okay, staff will meet with them and see what you can work through and what can work out. You can see in our discussions that we had a far-ranging discussion about a lot of issues. And the development committee went on to talk about themselves the issues we brought up and the pros and cons and why the district, why staff was proposing what they're proposing. And you will see the 3 letters we received, BIA, Toll Brothers, and Patel. It's clear the development community supports doing away with the loss after 3 years. And they're reluctantly supportive of, you heard, understanding the financial responsibility to have some kind of fee after that. And you can see that your unanimous request is that the staff proposal get changed from rather than the fee being due, the amount of fee being the difference between when they originally purchased, when the building permit is issued, that the fee due is whatever the fee is in place after the 3-year grace period when the building permit is issued. For most developers, and the way the fee's set up, there's just an annual cost of living increase, so it's not a big amount. But for that group of developers in that time period during depression, turn down, one, they've already paid $1,000 or $1,500 to be extended. Plus, we had a big jump in connection fees in that time period. So they could be looking at a fee to pay investing equal to the amount of the original fee they purchased. So it's a pretty substantial amount, where other people are be looking at $1,000 a unit or something. So for that group, it really is an important issue. So with that, I think if you have anything else, I would just point out that the Finance Committee asked staff to do is 2 things essentially. One, I said meet with the developers, and 2, they want us to come back to the board and ask the board simply 2 questions. 1, do you support doing something about the 3-year use it or lose it as I term it? Finance Committee. And 2, do you have any concerns, issues that you think the Finance Committee should consider? As a footnote, I'll tell you that before Ms. Malachek, the lefty, and I discussed some of the issues, and he's supportive of moving the time period in which the fee is paid if that were the board's direction.
Okay. Discussion?
Well, I've read a lot of stuff that finance is doing. Done great work. And yes, I do support the concept that work is doing. I'll leave the details to you.
Okay.
After you have your discussions with the developers internally and all that. But yeah, I'm supportive of that. I don't think I have any reservations. I guess the only reservation would be go on forever. 20 years or whatever. I don't know. It's any kind of limitation. I'll leave it. I would imagine someone did hold one of these capacity like these for 20 years. The delta payment would be pretty substantial. But anyway, I'm supportive and leave it up to you to work it out.
I'm also supportive of exploring that possibility. And I just want to reiterate that our responsibility as a board to our ratepayers and to the district for fiscal responsibility and fiscal soundness, but we also have to remember that the building industry is one of the biggest contributors to the economy. Dublin's growth in the residential area is critical to the future of Dublin. And anytime that you put more of a burden on the developers to put out the money that is required to build in California, as all of us know, I don't view that as a positive. That I think that our role is to be a partner in that and to assist in whatever way possible, without any detriment to the district.
I'm definitely in favor of doing away with it. I have 2 questions. One, if we do away with it and change the code, the only way it would come back is if we decided to change the code again, right?
Yes, unless there is some loss of available capacity, then
Right.
we have the option of controlling it.
Right.
I think that's right.
And then, actually I have 3 questions. And then, what Pat said about how long they could do this, that's kind of important. I mean, if they bought it this year and then held on to it forever and never got their permit. So I think we need something that says how long this kind of arrangement's good for. Because otherwise they would be holding the permits, just what we didn't want to do 30 years ago.
Yeah, again, all these legal finance to be able to address that, but two comments on that, of course, is first of all, when and if they use it, they'll be paying that fee in place at that time.
Whatever it is at that
And
time.
two, if they hold it so long, capacity becomes a problem, you can take action and say, at that point, we're not going to let you use that capacity until we decide it's okay. So you have the control of that switch already without setting a particular date.
Okay. And then my last
Is
one
that
would
right,
be,
Carol?
I 100% agree with you that the people that we were originally trying to help, some of them paid that old $1,000 and $1,500 in the old days fee, and I don't think it's right or fair to charge them the current. So I don't know how you fix that, but
Well, that $100,000 would be accredited towards that bill.
it's a significant amount of money if they paid the $1,000, because what's the connection fee now, 11,000 something? Yeah.
The credit idea could work.
But they probably paid $1,000 or $1,500 for it, and now they're up to 11,000. So for those people those developers that we were originally trying to help, this doesn't 100% help. This will help in the future, and it's good that we're getting rid of the fact that it expires, but we aren't helping the people we initially started out to help. So I think you still got to figure out something to do with them.
So I think there's a nuance that we're missing. First of all, to explain this somewhat, I know this is kind of a strange agenda I can sit and chat. The reason we thought it was important to do this is because these changes that we're contemplating require a code revision, which is a somewhat heavy lift. We kind of want to get the code revision drafted, get to the first reading, and then find out the other problem.
Right.
So we're kind of informally testing the concepts and counting those as we move forward. I think the nuance that maybe is escaping some people's mind is, think about it, this true up can be done one of two ways. It can be the delta, the difference between what you paid when you paid it and what the fee is when you set your meter. That was our initial, because we're just greedy, we always go for the most, so that was our initial thought. The concept that has come out of staff working with the development community, I have to pretty sure support this, is the true-up fee is going to be the difference between the fee when your initial 3 years expires and you set your meter. So somebody, we have this wave of capacity expiring 12/31/13.
So that's what the costs
The
are.
capacity fee is $11,000 right now. They set their meter in 18 months, they're probably going to get a year and a half of PNR. Kind of obviate the fear of people holding forever. That works, that increment works nicely during the ENR phase. We will have another capacity fee studies. We'll be in the world, he's likely to go out significantly. So those people that hold their fees longer will be at risk. But the idea is not to have them be at risk from what they originally purchased, be at risk from when their 3 years expires. So you pay your fee, you get 3 years. If you build, you're happy. If you don't build, you're at some risk of DNR. And then if you hold for too long, you're at some risk for 1 or 2 future fee studies.
That makes sense.
So it's not pain free.
It's not from day one.
Yeah.
It's
Time of expiration.
900 and
Yeah.
whatever.
I asked for day one and everybody yelled at me, so. And Bob wasn't even there. I was looking for him. Bob and I had many good meetings. 2010? I think so. Yeah, those were good times.
And also, isn't there an element also that is, if the capacity is not based on a first come, first serve.
Yeah, right.
It's first come, first serve, so that's
Oh.
another element that,
Yeah, but nuance there is the capacity is finite. The ability, if this goes through, the ability to hold the right to capacity is infinite. But you may have a right to capacity that doesn't exist anymore if you wait too long. And I know there was some discussion in our first meeting about that, and that's just the reality, especially with the Delta way it is, that's the reality of how we have discussion is we can't promise them the capacity that we're not able to. What I'm hearing, it sounds like we can go start dusting off our pencils and working on code revision.
yep, okay, good.
So I will assume that finance committee would like to talk about this next week, rather than coming back for review.
Heavy lifting to do, time these.
Well, it's summer, so I guess we have something to do.
Just also bear in mind that, being code revision, that's 2 readings, right? Two readings.
2 readings.
2 readings and a lot of legal work, so, we have to launch this shit now if we don't want to be in a bind for 2 or 3 months.
Right. Because our goal is to make sure that we get this handled now and not wait till the end. So then everybody understands what's going on and hopefully the resolution will work for everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you all for coming. All right.
Logos.
Now we're on to logos. Sue and her team. Joyce.
Historic big logos with like ink colors.
When we last met, we talked about colors, and we wanted to be able to see actual ink and press proofs, because I know there is some difference between how color is portrayed on the screen and how you see it as ink on paper. Going to how it looks on the screen, that is something that we can't control. The color on the same monitor will change over time. It will start out blue and it will turn more yellow. Best I can do is we pick a Pantone color, and Pantone has a set of specifications that creates an equivalent of RGB screen colors to ink colors. And so we can use that formula, and we can provide those specs. That's about as close as we can come to matching that. When it comes down to the actual choice of the colors, I experimented with a lot of different color pairings, and I have to admit there's a zillion beautiful colors to choose from out there. But when it comes down to what we really need to meet our criteria, it gets pretty narrow. We need something that provides us with light, which would be the white, and then a medium ground and a dark ground that can be contrasting them, so that when the 2 colors are butted up together, we see that there's a clear difference between them. And also the dark color needs to be able to carry small type that you would find like on business cards and the letterhead and stationery. So it's not really a question of personal taste as to what you like in colors. For this, it's really come down to what works, because I've tried a zillion different combinations and just kind of like ended up circling back to kind of a classic combination. And I feel that the first one is probably the strongest one, just because it does give you that difference, that pop in color. And actually the top board, or the left board, shows you what it looks like on coated paper. And you can see there's a difference even from how it's going to look on uncoated paper. So, you'll just have to come to accept that.
The people out here that can deal with us going into this stuff. Carrying around, I don't want to see side by side.
These are coated and matte. Some stuff is matte, some stuff is coated. So it's the same colors. These are all one color. I'm trying to provide it what we can see as the signage size, the badge size, and also the logo letterhead, and also the back cover. Very simple.
Kids, our eyes are down.
The point is, you can still see the light.
You should also put it towards the camera.
You can see that.
You should put it towards the camera too, just in case folks are.
I sure like this one. That nice color. What's the difference that's good? What happens with that paper?
Oh, okay, well, the coating on the paper.
This is
actually,
glossy.
Yeah.
Oh, I see,
It allows it
okay.
to sit more on the surface vibrant, more matte. You know, when you take your kid to glossy matte, so if you,
I like the matte.
your letterhead, your stationery is always
Yeah,
going to
will be matte.
And then if you went to something like magazine ad or insert.
Right,
Right.
all
So
right.
different uses, different looks, but just so you get a sense of this is, so this is the favorite color. Yeah. And also, with the antonings, since I can give the specifications, I can tell the printer I want them to match the matte.
Okay.
And we'll try to.
I have two of them.
So it's standardized, make it, and we'll still want to see some differences. So let's see now, second, I provided a light sample, just so you can see the difference between, you know, if you wanted to go a lighter color, kind of bright, but it doesn't have quite the same impact as the darker one. I'm going to be able to see quite a little from a distance.
It's kind of washed
It
out.
bushes.
It washes
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
The values, the difference between the blue and the green.
It's very,
reads
very
the same.
limited. Yeah.
Doesn't work.
There's no contrast.
Here, we'll put this over here. Yeah. Right here. The dark and light. Like an aqua. And we flipped the dark and light. I know originally there'd been a request that you show the drop of water on a very dark background for heavier contrast. This I wanted to be able to show just the opposite. This kind of reminds me more of a forest kind of color. More so.
Looks like a drop in the sky.
This is also more of a trendy color, but this is a more classic combination. But if you want more shiny or matte, that's shiny. If you want matte, it's all matte. Yeah, these are all matte.
That is the letterhead.
To me, this has the more pop of the three.
And that's also building the stationery, and small lettering.
The complementary, because you're looking at lighter color on the stationery here, and then it's more it's pops more on the stationery. This is really light and it doesn't copy well.
Well, when you do black and white, your values are so similar that
It's not washes.
yeah, it doesn't copy as much.
Me too.
So, any questions, discussion?
Yeah, I like number 3. I think
Which one's number?
Which
it's the
number?
last one you showed.
The dark.
Yeah, the dark
The
green.
first one?
No, the last one.
I like the letter.
This one.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
green-
Pat likes that.
I like the
Yeah,
one.
the green looks more foresty, and that green kind of looks like, I don't know, it's kind of like I've been,
Like apple green.
If you want that green with that.
It's been a long time since they changed
That's why I
it.
ended up doing something lighter, just so that you be able to see the contrast. It's not bad when you know it's large, but when it gets down really tiny, you can have it's this little guy here.
Who would ever be that tiny?
That social media.
People on
The
your
little
phone.
buttons.
On your phone.
On your phone. That's part of why we're doing this.
words?
We're trying to.
Feeling lost.
1787, come on.
Well, what, you know, think about when I was born.
It's hard, I know.
I like that one.
I vote for that.
Okay, you two.
I mean, I like, here's myself, you know, again,
not a waffler very often, but this is one of those kind of like forever decisions. Yeah.
Boy, we had to take note of
This is
that.
like-
Holy cow. Boy, there's a first for Mr.
I
Halpern.
mean, this is like one of those, forever decisions that I won't take lightly, and
It's our 60th year
I've
now.
seen this for a total of 30 seconds at length from afar. Part of me wants to like hang in the lobby for a week or two, let me just see it.
Yeah, well, that'd be
You know
fun.
what I mean?
Maybe we should
Maybe
have
we could
people.
do that.
Yeah, let's
Wouldn't it
have
be
people look at it and
Give
let
them
people vote.
numbers and let them put numbers in a box.
How about people vote? Might as well.
Oh, it's not my thing.
It is personal taste.
I mean, has the entire staff seen this? Yeah, it's just been.
They saw it today.
It's been on the staff.
What did they
What did
say?
they say?
We didn't really, we saw the design,
We
not
just saw
necessarily
this.
the color scheme.
They didn't,
Why don't we put those two
I mean,
up?
we'd be glad to put them up for 2 weeks and then stay
Yeah.
out there, put the sticky dots on them that like.
But just something, I'm,
It's a permanent logo that reflects our agency, so it should be, we should give our employees and our
It's a social-
customers.
Oh, boy, is that a cop.
No, it's true.
It is true, though.
It is
very
because
true.
it's like, it's not just our agency, it's their agency.
and I would certainly just hang those two up. I think the
Yeah.
one that's,
put it on the website and have people.
the computer's gonna get, just,
Yeah.
if somebody cares enough to be around here, like staff and.
Wait for this, what you want.
Okay, put it in the lobby and have people
Put
pick
it
their
on
favorite.
which.
We'll send our friends.
Put a number up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Help us pick our logo.
I would eliminate the one that's really like,
Really low.
Yeah.
So there's two choices.
Yeah.
those are too strong, those look great.
Okay.
And so now we're crossing over to the threshold of being a semi
We're down to 2.
Well, we're still pretty easy for,
Which
you know,
is 3 months to get
rebranding.
down to 2.
What's that?
I said it has to be 2
No, it's,
Okay, okay.
look good.
Okay, so 2.
I could actually score out one. Okay, that's the case.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
That's exactly what happened. Big ink that's.
Okay, so at this time, before we go into closed session, board member items. We'll start with Director Bartier.
Well, in the middle of the month, Georgina and I attended an exhibition, or a demonstration of sludge removal at the Laughlin facility. And we got to see our district-owned equipment with our district operators in action. Quite impressive. I had to laugh because we told Georgina it's kind of a guy thing because only black ooze all over the ground and she thought it was oil. But anyway, it was very informative. I was glad to see the amount of time and money and research and effort that the staff and the plant operators have put into that. It's a very credible, very efficient operation. So as a contractor, I was impressed.
Good. Okay, Director or Vice President Von Legal.
Well, yeah, it was good to see all the various, oh, and I have to tell you, we have a lady driving the tractor. I love it. Anyway, it was interesting to see. I hadn't seen all the pieces of it together in one day for quite a while. The other thing is, on last Monday, we had our Central Dublin Recycle Water Line kickoff, and it was extremely well attended. I was very surprised. We had numerous people from other agencies, and staff did a really nice job of setting things up so we could present plaques to the people that kind of helped us along the way. And we had 2 city council people and our mayor there, plus Dr. Hankey. So it was good. The only problem was we were supposed to start 3 sections with a remote control, and only my section, the first one, worked. do that, so, but it was a very nice morning. Of course, we had ice cream and it was cold that day, but, and then the other thing is I attended Bud Nielsen's memorial service on Sunday. There were more than 500 people there. It was held out on the grass at the Heritage Center, and it was wonderful. We had our, as Roxanne would say, our last dinner on Bud, but it was really an amazing send-off for someone that is truly one of the founders of current Dublin. So it was really nice. That's all I did.
Excellent. Director Howard was with us. Oh, do you have anything to share?
No, I had a wonderful,
How was your granddaughter's
it was great.
party?
Not every day, actually 2 days. The granddaughter turns 21. I'll have another one coming up in 2 years.
Okay, sir?
Just glad the event turned out well with recycled water. I was on vacation and took the boys to recycle. It's funny, boys that age, you know, I can take them to San Ramon.
Yeah.
If you go to a hotel, they're happy.
We're on vacation.
Good. And I'd like to also thank Sue and her staff for the water recycling event, and to thank Vice President Von Peter Leopold for stepping in for me, since I too was on vacation coming back from Montana.
Well, as you know, it was a perfect situation for you. It was Jeff and I who sat down in 1991 with John Coleman, and I started out that way, saying, who would have thought it would have taken us 22 years to get here? But here we are.
And I did hear from East Bay Med staff, they were sorry they could not attend, so I did hear that as well. And also I'd like to thank Sue for, I actually spoke at the Doherty Valley San Ramon Rotary Club, and so that was, they helped me, you know, now we have a template for speaking, so I invite and encourage all you guys to, if you have a chance, your local Rotaries.
What topic?
I actually talked about water and wastewater and the district, where we're going, potential projects that we have. And it was, I explained the relationship of DSRSD to Zone 7, Central San, and East Bay Mud. So that was a real mystery that seemed to demystify them. I put us in the middle and 3 circles around. But anyway, so that's it. And I appreciate staff. We miss Bert tonight, and we welcome back Lori. So thank you for coming back. We're glad to see you. Oh. Okay. All right. At this time, we're going to go into a closed session. For one closed session item listed. While the board meeting will continue, this broadcast will be stopped at this time because it is anticipated there is no report from closed session. If there is a report from closed session, it will be announced in open session at the end of this board meeting. If you're interested in what reports out, if any, you may contact Acting District Secretary Nicole Ginzali or during regular business hours. And we hope you have a very healthy week. Thank you.